Hey everyone, Jake with Nash Power Sports. Hope you're having a great day. I'm out in Belfair, Washington at Tahuya State Park, and I've had a unique opportunity this weekend. I got to spend a couple days riding this all-new motorcycle. This is a Kove 450 Rally. Now, this bike aims to be the unicorn that the dual sport adventure community has been clamoring for. What I mean by that is adventure riders and dual sport riders have been asking for a highly capable bike off-road that costs under $10,000 and weighs under 400 pounds. And this is that motorcycle. I think you can call this a dual sport or a lightweight adventure bike. Either way, you're right. I definitely see this bike as an ideal setup for a BDR. BDRs have become very popular. I've done a couple myself. I have a Honda 450 Dual Sport and a KTM 890 Adventure R, and I think this sits neatly in between those two bikes. Highly capable. This thing is a ton of fun. It's got some quirks, and we'll get into what those are. But overall, I think this is tremendous bang for the buck. I want to start with kind of how this bike is set up dynamically. So this right here is the fuel tank. There's actually 3 fuel tanks on this bike. So you can see here, the gas tank is split. There's one here on the right, one on the left. The majority of the fuel is kept down low. That helps the center of gravity. Very similar to the design on my KTM 890 Adventure R. There's also a third fuel tank right here under the seat. So fully fueled, this bike can hold 8 gallons. Now, cool thing is because there's 3 separate tanks, you can kind of think about, all right, am I going on a long trip? If you don't need 320 miles of range, which this can get, you don't have to fill the rear tank, and you save yourself 32 pounds of weight by leaving the rear tank empty. So pretty cool. That's probably my favorite thing about this bike. It gives this bike awesome handling. This is definitely a bike geared towards hardcore off-roading. You can just feel it in every facet of this bike. The suspension is really stiff. It's got a lot of ground clearance. This is a fully adjustable front fork. You've got rebound, dampening, and preload adjustments that you can make. I actually would probably soften it up a bit. This is set up pretty stiff, but lets you know the intent is legitimate off-road riding. Also, you look at the tires you're getting here. These are definitely on the aggressive side from what you typically see from the factory. Those are actually more aggressive, I think, than what came stock on my KTM 890. So tires are good. The suspension is solid. The way this bike handles is fantastic. It is a ton of fun. And when you've got all 3 tanks filled, this bike weighs in right around 380 pounds, which is heavy by dirt bike standards, but it makes it a featherweight in the adventure bike world. So again, depending on how you perceive this bike, dual sport or adventure bike, I definitely would love to do a BDR on one of these. Now, BDRs also have highway sections. So this is a single cylinder motorcycle, liquid cooled single cylinder, 450 cc. It makes 50 horsepower in the off-road only version. This being the street legal version, it has a little stricter emissions to work around. So set up like this, it's 42 horsepower. Cool thing is you can get the airbox and the exhaust that the off-road version comes with from day one. They're basically just a bolt-on part that you can get from the dealership, and you get those 8 horsepower back. So I would do that immediately, but that's up to you. I don't know if that's going to keep you legal in every state, so use discretion with that. Styling of the bike, it definitely looks the part of a rally bike. Rally fairing, you know, this kind of stuff, you got to spend big time money to make your dual sport have a rally tower like this. It comes set up as a rally bike from day one. Cool looking styling, I think. These headlights are really nice and bright. The wind protection offered from this fairing is decent. You know, you still feel it around your helmet though. It kind of cuts it around your torso and chest. But the way you stand up on this bike, or the ergonomics when you're riding it stand up, are nearly perfect. I'm 5'11", 188 pounds. I feel like it's set up really well for my height. I probably wouldn't do a bar riser or anything like that. The standing position is fantastic. When you're seated, just like most stock seats, this seat gets a little hard, not the most comfortable, but there's a lot of aftermarket seat options out there. But for a bike that's under $10,000, I think they knocked it out of the park here. Super fun motorcycle. I'm really excited that Nash is the first dealership in the state of Washington to carry these. I think there's going to be a lot of interest from the dual sport adventure community in this bike. Let's talk a little more about some features on it. So, fire it up. Watch the instrument cluster come to life there. Digital tach, gear position indicator, fuel. We'll show you. You can disable all of the ABS, so you can turn it off on the front, you can turn it off on the rear, or you can have it on both. For on the road, having the ABS on makes a lot of sense. The braking power, I felt like it was more than enough brakes. It stops this bike really well on the street and off-road. Never locked up the rear tire or anything unless it was intentional. On the road, this bike is pretty fun. You know, it handles really well. Again, bike carries its weight down low, so it falls into corners very well. On the road though, 42 horsepower is a little underwhelming, but I feel like this bike, you put the pipe and the airbox on it, get a power commander on it, this thing will rip. It's definitely got an aggressive personality. The engine is revvy. It's not a bike that likes to putt around though. You definitely want to keep the RPMs up on this. It just doesn't seem like it has a lot of bottom end power. It seems to build as the revs increase. Take a look at these headlights here. Okay, this bike is from China, so that is going to be an issue for some people. I get it. I have some feelings about China, but I'm not reviewing a country here. This is just, is this a good bike? Does it represent good value? And does it do what it says it does? And the answer is yes. It is an awesome value for the money. It is a ton of fun. It's really capable off-road. Now, I'm a mediocre off-road rider, so in the hands of the right rider, this thing is going to do some amazing stuff. You know, this is like 80 or so pounds lighter than my KTM 890R, which is an awesome handling adventure bike. So, you know, I had to take it easy on this too. This is not my bike, and conditions are quite slippery out here. So my mission was to get it out, ride it, put it through its paces, but not drop it, not fall over, not do any damage. So far, mission accomplished, knock on wood. Some things that I would do to this bike right away, though, I mentioned I would do the off-road exhaust and airbox right away. I'd get a power commander on this, get that fueling nice and smooth. I would get some wraparound handguards put on it immediately. You know, if it fell over, you're going to snap a lever and you're going to jam this handlebar full of dirt. I'm not sure why these are not capped. Also, these blinkers, they would probably snap the first time you fall over with it. So I would do some blinkers that sit closer to the body of the bike. Probably get some sort of a crash bar on it, seat concept seat, and some soft luggage. And you'd have a BDR Slayer here. So these are available at Nash Power Sports. I'm the assistant sales manager. I would love to talk to you about this. Let you sit on it, put some numbers in front of you, talk about options to customize it and upgrade it. Otherwise, everyone have an awesome day. I'm out.